Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Leafs Line Podcast. The train rushes onwards on the World Juniors Championship previews. We're in Finland now, and we're getting our way into the bigger teams in this tournament. A lot of skill, a lot of talent to talk about. It's going to be a fun one. And off the top, I'll just mention myself if you do not know. I'm Mara Russo. Beside me is Jared Rotenberg and Adam Romoli. We've been doing a lot of these episodes tonight, and we're just continuing to go through them. We're in Finland, and this is going to be a fun one because there's a lot of storylines that you could dig into with this group. The goaltending is a big one, just how much skill they have up front and on D. And of course, can they prove the naysayers wrong? That's also a big storyline we wanted to keep tabs on as we inch our way to the World Juniors. Why don't we start with the goaltending position? Jerry, I want to go with you. What are you seeing in goal? I know it's a big storyline for a lot of the teams in the World Juniors. We've seen a team like, I believe we were talking about Czechia, if I'm not mistaken, where it was a revolving door of goaltenders saying going with whoever is hot. We've seen problems emerge in some of the big powerhouses like the United States, who undrafted and experienced goaltending, and with Canada, guys who've been struggling at the club level this year. So there's a lot of different moving parts in the goaltending scenario on the World Juniors this year. And I want to get your thoughts on Finland. Where do they fit into the puzzle, and how vital is the goaltending going to be for their longevity and their long-term success in this tournament?
Give me 1 second because my page that had notes on this goalie just froze up on me a little bit. Okay,
Oh,
there
no
we
worries.
go.
No, you good?
Yeah, we're all good.
All
Okay,
right, all right.
so their goalie, who's likely expected to be their starter in net, his name is Nicholas Coco. He was a 2022 second-round pick to the Seattle Kraken. 6'3", big, tall goaltender who's had some solid numbers overall in his play. He's been playing. He only had one game played in the Liga, but after that, he's been playing on loan with Hermes, which I believe is a lower level team to the Liga. But regardless, that's where most young kids are expected to play. And in there, he's played only 12 games, but he's put up an over 900 save percentage, that being a 904. He also has previously played in the World Juniors before. And returning to this tournament, it's very much expected that he'll kind of continue his previous dominance because he's a goalie that's returning to this tournament and he's a strong goalie overall. Once again, like he has strong numbers overall, and I see no reason why he shouldn't be a top goalie to help propel them above some other opponents throughout this tournament, and especially playing in that division with the United States and Slovakia. Another team, especially the United States, who has some question marks in net. I don't really see Coco being worse than the United States in terms of their goaltending. So I definitely don't see goalie the position in net being something that's a major question mark. It's obviously we'll have to wait and see how it does, but I definitely don't think it'll be something that shoots them in the foot at all. And I think their team overall is strong enough that they could withstand the goalie who's in net.
And let's get into a little bit of that team in front of him and what we're going to be seeing production wise, who's scoring the goals, who's taking the defensive roles, and what's going to be the heart and soul of this group. Adamo, can you list off some players that are going to make an impact and be effective on this Finland squad? I know they've had a bunch of guys like Brad Lambert, Oliver Kapanen as well as another name. I am going to go with the guess that he's related to Kasperi Kapanen, but I could be wrong.
Probably not.
Probably not.
They have like 3 Kapanens on this
Yeah,
roster.
you know what? It was worth a try. But again, a lot of talent up on the forward core and the D. What are some names that really stand out to you maybe that I didn't even mention either?
Yeah, a guy you just didn't mention now is Joachim Kemmel.
Mhm.
Pure goal scorer. He's playing in the Liga now. 17 goals. Sorry, 8 goals. Oh my God, I saw a different number. 8 goals in 24 games in the Liga. That's a league that does not score a lot of goals, and he's scoring at a pretty good pace. Not much of a playmaker, but never was. His thing has always been his shot. He was a first-round pick this year to the Predators. He is likely going to be their best player. Another guy to keep an eye out for is a name that you did mention, that being Brad Lambert. I know everyone says it, but that just is not a Finnish person, but apparently he is. He played in Finland his whole career. I can't say anything, but I digress. He was scratched at last year's tournament, so I think that's something that we should be looking out for. The reason he was scratched is because his coach didn't like the way that he wasn't using his teammates. He was kind of selfish, and on the Finnish team that doesn't have a lot of depth this year, I don't know if you can afford to scratch him. Like last year, that Finnish team was loaded. This year, it's not there anymore. There's no Niemela, there's no Hervinen, there's no Simon Tyval. There's not that, you know, Brad Lambert's the guy now. Him, Kemmel, couple others that I can get into later on are the guys. Right now Lambert's playing with the Manitoba Moose. Holy cow! When you record for this long,
Yeah.
the words start to
Yeah.
go. He's with the Manitoba Moose right now. Not great. He's 3 points in 14 games. He's a -9 in the AHL. Mind you, it is the AHL, so that is arguably the second best hockey league in the world, and he is a player in it. So obviously there's that respect there. He's going to be one of the better players at this tournament. Last tournament, he didn't do anything. That being said, he was benched. 1 goal in 5 games. The tournament before that, where he was like a double underager, 4 points in 7 games, which that's the Lambert that we know. Ton of skill. If he can put it together, you're looking at a player that Winnipeg stole in the late first round.
That's the kind of the theme I was going to get into. They were absolutely stealing Brad Lambert. And that's what everyone was kind of saying. Where how did this guy drop so far? He's a potent goal scorer. He can get it done on all angles of the ice. And on the international stage as well, which is debatably one of the hardest stages to get it done in its own regard. So Brad Lambert is a terrific piece that I'm really excited to watch. I'm sure a lot of fans of not just Finland but fans of hockey are excited to see and get unpacked. Because I don't believe he had any shot yet with the Jets this year. I don't think he's going to have any sort of effect with them for a little bit, but you get to see him in a finished jersey, and I think that's already a terrific thing to watch out for. And the expectations is something I want to also get into. They finished with a silver medal last year. This is a team that's always supposed to be in the medal conversation. The podium is usually embedded with their footsteps. Everyone's trying to get in there, and they're always a team that it's either gold, bronze, silver, and if it's anything other than that, it's a little bit of a disappointment. Where are we seeing the expectations lie this year, Jared? And is there other players that maybe Adamo didn't mention that could help them get to that point? And what would those expectations even be? Is it the same similar podium they've been trying to put together over the course of their entire program, or are the expectations a little less just because of the guys that have been leaving this group over the last from the summer to now?
For starters, I'm going to mention a player that Adamo didn't mention that I think is very interesting to highlight. Probably won't be much of a difference maker given his age, but I want to show some love to the 16-year-old kid who cracked this Finnish team, that being Aaron Kiviharu.
Yep.
He's a small defenseman, but he's a puck-moving guy, 5'10". And the fact that he's a top prospect eligible not for the 2023 draft, but for the 2024 draft. This kid was born in 2006. He is younger than my little brother. And the fact that this kid has made a World Juniors International Under 20 tournament, I think that deserves all the praise in the world. He right now has actually played a few games for TPS of the Liga. Didn't have any points, which is to be expected. He's a 16-year-old defenseman playing alongside a bunch of older men, so it isn't really expected that he's going to have great numbers. But in general, when he played on the TPS under 20 team, he had 12 points in 13 games, once again as a defenseman. So the fact that this kid even made the lineup is very impressive. And if he ends up getting some time, I think that's a player I'm definitely very curious to see how he could do in this Finnish squad, and potentially a big factor in them achieving the prediction I have for them, which a lot of people think they've actually gotten worse than last year. And I think it's pretty standard prediction just given their roster. But I actually think, yes, they aren't going to make the gold medal game, in my opinion, but I think they are going to medal. I don't think they're going to fall off quite a bit as much as I see some other predictions saying. I have them finishing third in the tournament. I think they're going to make the bronze medal game. And the reason for that is I do like their goaltender. And especially compared to another European team, which we're going to get into shortly, that being Sweden, they've lost their goaltender. Joel Blanc, no, sorry, not Joel Blanc, because that was a Finnish goaltender. They lost Jesper Wallstedt, who made Sweden last year a team that we were all very high on. Without that guy really being an opponent in terms of the European teams, I think Finland kind of regains an advantage that maybe they didn't have last year in terms of the goalie department, where they're pretty evenly matched with a lot of the goaltenders on the European teams. And I like Finland. I like their top end talent. I like their depth. And overall, I like their goaltender. And I think they will end up making it to the bronze medal game. And I have them winning it because I have them finishing third overall in the tournament.
And very well rounded. Finland has got it, gets it done at all angles of the ice. Goaltending between the pipes, it's stellar. Defense, stellar. And then the offense just speaks for itself, and it's going to speak in a loud way for the amount of goals they're going to be putting in the back of the net. Dom, I'll go with you before we wrap things up here. Prediction, quick one here. What do you got him finishing? Is it going to be a podium finish, or are we going to maybe see a step back from this group and slightly off it?
And Jared did a really good job at convincing me. But because I'm not a coward, I'm not going to switch my prediction. Finland's going to come fourth. Is what I have. Yeah.
So that would mean they're losing bronze medal game.
Yes.
All right. So again, slightly off the podium. Again, we've seen so many different results. It's a mixed bag with Finland. You're usually seeing terrific. They're lights out, probably looking like the best team in the world. And then other years, it's completely far from it. So you never really know what you're going to get from the Finns. I've heard a lot of takes. I've heard the Finns are frauds. If you are a fan of Overdrive, I know some people might be out there. You'll just understand the reference. Don't you worry. It's an inside joke. We'll have it together. But other than that, Finland, an interesting team to watch as always. They're always fun, skilled, tenacious, you name it, they got it. And it's just going to be a terrific tournament when they're in it. So looking out for Finland. Next, we'll be looking out for Sweden. You can stick around on the Leafs Line podcast to find our predictions and our feedback on them. But that is for us. Again, I'm Mario Russo, Jerry Rotenberg, and Adama Romoli tuning off from Finland. We're going to get into some other teams before we wrap up our World Juniors Championship preview. Stick around the Leafs Line podcast. So much content at your fingertips. You want to go to Dynasty Sports Network to find even more. There's hockey content, baseball content, football content, soccer content. There's a lot of content if you're getting my drift here. So go onto the website, type it in your web browser, or even go on the social medias. TikTok's got it, Instagram. Oh, yeah. We're everywhere, man. We're everywhere. Find us anywhere. And so stick around for the upcoming episode. We got a couple more of powering through the World Juniors previews. But that is for us. See you soon.